The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast platform, its affiliates, or even the hosts. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and should not be taken as legal, financial, or professional advice. The host and guests are not liable for any errors of omission in the content, nor for any losses, injuries, or damages arising from the use of the information provided. Listeners are encouraged to seek professional advice relevant to their specific circumstances. Now enjoy the
Hello, and welcome to Tea and Herbalism with Lady D. And I'm Lady D. Thank you for joining me today. Today we are talking about hops. The Latin phrase is Humulus lupulus, and it's in the Cannabaceae family, which is another word for hemp. So this is what the hemp flowers looks like. So today we will be having I'm going to make my own mixture up. We're going to have hops flowers. And this has a sedating effect. So I don't want to do a lot. Actually, they're large. So I'm just going to take a few out. See how they look. It's a little harder to scoop. So I'll do about 4 or 5 flower heads. And if you don't know, hemp is used in the making of beer. It's one of the ingredients in beer. So I'm also going to pair it, and so it has a bitter flavor. So I'm going to pair it with chamomile flowers, which also has a sedating effect. I'm not going to do a lot. So I'll do 2 teaspoons. So it has a nice mild and sweet flavor. So this is my tea bloom teaspoon I'm using. It scoops out exactly 1 teaspoon. So that was about 5 hops flower heads, 2 teaspoons of the chamomile. I was going to use peppermint, but I thought about lemon balm. Lemon balm has a nice lemon flavor and scent, and it's Melissa officinalis. So I'm going to wipe my tea bloom off because it has some chamomile on it. All right. I think I'll just get 1 teaspoon of the Melissa officinalis lemon balm. And yes, when I first started in herbalism, I was like, why do I need to know the Latin name? I just want to know the name of it. But it's important to know the Latin name because there are multiple strains of the same species. So there's a few different strains of tea tree. And then there's peppermint, spearmint, which are made from other mints. So it is good to know the Latin name of the herbs. Like with lavender, I explained how there's lavandula augustifolia, and there's also lavandin, which is the French lavender. So I just shook it in my hand around, and I got chamomile all over the table, which is fine. I'll clean it up later. So this is what it looks like. I forgot to show you. I just swished it around. I'm going to go ahead and light the tea light so it can keep it warm. Actually, it keeps it hot. So you can see how quickly the Tesla lighter works there. Share the pouring. You guys know I don't measure. I try and do about, let's see how it rolls to the top. Okay. All the herbs rose to the top. I'm just going to add more water. And look how it's a nice, well, yellowish green. Almost like Mountain Dew. You see that? Or even like a lemony color. So I'm going to turn this camera off and work on getting all of the herbs moist. Because it's not going to be helpful just sitting on top. And then chamomile, when it gets moist, it apologies. When chamomile gets moist, it expands and becomes thick. So I'm just pushing everything down into the water. I'm going to actually pour a little bit more water to rinse my spoon off and to just get the extra herb to go down. And sometimes you just have to adjust, adapt, and overcome. So I'm wiping my spoon off. So I'm going to use this spoon to when I make my tea, my cup of tea. All right, so here it is. I'm just going to go ahead and set it on that tea light warmer so I can stay hot. While we continue to talk about hops, I just move other herbs out the way. Okay. So hops has a male and a female flower, and they grow on separate plants. So that's interesting to learn. So actually, let me pull one out for you. So it almost looks as though they're smashed down, when they were dried, because they look like a cone, and then they must have been smashed in the drying process. So we have a male and female flower. So for edible uses, the female flower, which is also known as the seed cone, is used for tea and for the brewing of beer. So that means this is the female flower. The extracts and oils are used as flavoring in non-alcoholic beverages and sweets. So they're also using the hops, not just for beer, but for non-alcoholic beverages. So for the medicinal uses, and I shared this a moment ago, it has a sedative effect. So it sedates you, calms you, and promotes sleep and digestion. It's also a stomachic, which means it helps with digestion. It's antispasmodic, so it stops spasms. Diuretic, it causes people to go pee, urinate, and it's good for insomnia. So I mentioned the sedative effect. So if you needed to sleep, you had insomnia, you can use the hops to help you. And these statements are not approved by the FDA. So again, if you want to use it as a sedative, you can use fresh hops or even dry. As you see, I'm using dry hops today. I don't have a hops plant, so for medicinal uses, you can use the dry hops, and it has anti-anxiety effects without strong sedative effects. So it sedates you enough to help with anxiety without being overly sedative. But of course, you could increase the amount of hops you're using to help you with insomnia. So it's excellent digestive, and it helps treat symptoms of IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, and if you have an irritable bladder. So externally, you can use it as a poultice for bruising. And before I've shared to make a poultice, you can use a mortar or pestle, grind it up with some water if you're at home or a setting that had those type of ingredients. And then as you grind it up, it makes a paste, and you can put that on the wound. So you can also use it for boils. The same method, make the poultice for bruises, boils, inflamed tissues. And also if you have arthritic joints, which is also called rheumatism, you can use that. So you can use it internally for that also. So as far as making the tea, it helps relieve cramps, coughs, and fevers. It has pain relieving components. It relieves mood disturbances, nervous tension. So I mentioned anxiety. So yeah, and unrest. So it's considered calming and helpful in promoting sleep, which I just shared that, helping with insomnia. There is a warning that if you're picking hops off the hops plant, handling may handling the plant may cause dermatitis because it has hairs, and the dislodged hairs can irritate your eyes, and the crystalline resin in the fruit. So if you look at the actual fruit before it's dry, it has crystalline resin, and that may cause an allergic reaction. But I don't know if you're going to be picking hops, but if you get the opportunity, you should wear gloves. And also, I found a fun fact. Not so fun if you're a hops picker, but there's a condition called picker fatigue, and it results from the release of the essential oil during the harvest. So if you're picking hops with bare hands, or maybe even with gloves that aren't for that, the essential oil can come through and cause picker fatigue because it has a sedating effect. So if you're picking it with bare hands, you're gonna get that and probably be too tired to continue on picking. So I learned that hops has phytoestrogen properties. So it's plant-derived chemicals that have an estrogen-like structure and function in the body. So it can exert estrogen-like effects. So whether you're male or female, if you're handling the hops too much or you're consuming too much hops, too much hops. Okay, we'll go with that. It can exerted estrogen like effects. And I'll let you figure out what that could be for you. So it has bitter properties and the sedative qualities that reduces spasm of the bladder and the bowel. So again, if you have irritable bowel syndrome or a spasming bladder, which some people do have, it can help reduce that. So let's check and see if the tea is ready. It looks beautiful. So when I first showed it to you, it was like a greenish, a light green, like I said, like Mountain Dew. But as it sat a while with the other two herbs, the lemon balm and the chamomile, it's a beautiful amber color now. So it changed colors on us. That is something else. So I'm going to use this teapot today. It's a Lennox. The brand name is Lennox. And this is from their springtime collection. So this one, yeah, the springtime splendor teapot. It's absolutely beautiful. Looks like it has irises on it, dragonflies, and at the top it has a butterfly for the handle. And it has nice little gold detailing around the bottom and top. Look at that flower on the spout, and on the handle it has the gold gilding. It's beautiful. So we're gonna go ahead and transfer from one pot to the other. So beautiful. Okay, look at that steam. I don't know if you can see it. It's nice and hot. So the cup that I'm using today has an interesting story. This cup and saucer. I'm trying to see if you can You can't really see it with the light in here, but you can pretty much see the light through the cup. It's a fine bone china. So when I first got this, I thought it was a set, but a lot of companies I learned make multiple. They make lookalikes of other products. We'll say that. So while these look like it belongs in one set, they're actually made by two different manufacturers. So my interesting story is I bought a curio cabinet from on Facebook Marketplace. When I went to pick it up from the lady, she had this huge china cabinet with it was her aunt's belongings. And I saw that two cups and a saucer. And I was like, wrap that in, give me a price. So that's how I got it. I'm like, okay, add it on to the price of the curio cabinet. So it was next to nothing. So I went on and got it. So I have two of these cups now and this saucer. Makes me happy. So I'm going to use sugar because, like I said, hops is bitter, but the chamomile is sweet. The lemon balm has a lemon taste to it. So we're going to see how these three herbs taste together. Very nice. Stir that sugar in. It's a nice light taste, actually. I can taste the lemon from the lemon balm. And there's a little sweetness from the chamomile. I don't actually pick the hops out. So I probably could have used a little bit more hops for this tea. I just didn't want to be sleeping the rest of the day, with the chamomile and the hops together. It's a nice, smooth taste. It's delicious. I'm gonna have to write this recipe down so I can recreate it in the future. But this probably will make a good bedtime tea. Or if, like I said, you have high anxiety and you need to chill out or something. Lunar Love by Denise, where everything is handmade in small batches. You can reach me at my Etsy website or at my email address and place your order. I'm also known as Lady D. Thank you. It's delicious. There was one little hops hair floating around in there, or even could have been from the chamomile, but at least I drank it, which is fine too. So I'm gonna share a cup with a friend, and if you decide to make it, it'll be a nice gesture to share a cup of tea with your friend. I don't know if you remember, I shared you when I watched about the tea ceremony when they pour the first cup of tea as a part of that. The first cup is for their enemy. So then I was sharing then, and I'll repeat it today, that it will be hard to have an enemy if you share a cup of tea with them, that first cup of tea. So I want to thank you again for joining me, and you can share this video with friends. Like and subscribe, please. And like I said, share. If you want to donate to the network, you can donate on PayPal to Argains II. If you want to donate to the host, you can donate on Cash App And my Cash App is Naturalista D. If you want, you can email me at Lady D. What is it? No, it's not. I'm sorry. The email is lunarlovebydenise@gmail.com. And if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me a message. You can also find me on Instagram. I always forget to mention that. Instagram, Lady D4440. So thank you again for joining me, and enjoy a nice cup of tea with a friend.